Made on Zencaster.
The following podcast is a Jill Divine Media production.
Hi there, and welcome to Two Kids and a Career. I'm Jill Divine. As an entrepreneur, wife, and mama, the daily grind of trying to build a business while taking care of kids and trying to maintain a healthy connection with my hubby, it's a lot. With this podcast, you're going to hear candid conversations with other moms, parenting experts who can share their knowledge and insight, or you'll just hear me rambling to get it all out. There's going to be tears, there's going to be laughter, but most importantly, there will be support. Take a listen and connect with me so we can grow and learn from one another. This is Two Kids and a Career. Thank you for hitting play on this week's episode. I'm Jill Divine, and I'll be honest, I have no idea how this conversation is going to go. And the reason why I say that is because the conversation, it's just me. And I tried to plan out how this conversation would go, and I think I was putting a lot of pressure on myself because I wanted to make sure that I said everything that I wanted to say, and then I realized that would just be impossible. So I decided to write a blog, and the blog can be found at jilldivine.com, but I'm going to read it to you, and it'll keep things in order, and it will help me get through this conversation. So here we go. I asked for a sign. Crickets. I continued to pray and kept asking God for a sign. I'm quite sure he sent me several signs, but I wasn't paying attention. This ask and seek continued for quite some time. What was the sign I was looking for? Whether or not I should keep moving forward with Jill Divine Media or hit pause. If you didn't know, besides being the founder and owner of Jill Divine Media, I also have a job at the church I attend, Messiah St. Charles. What started out as a very, 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 very part-time position has now led to a full-time position as the Connections and Community Groups Coordinator. And so as the responsibilities increased at Messiah, I would fall behind with Jill Divine Media. I would find myself playing catch up on the weeknights and the weekends, and this would lead to exhaustion. And I don't know about you, but I get pretty cranky when I'm exhausted. And then I take it out on the people I care about the most, my family. I've been conflicted about hitting pause on Jill Divine Media because I would release a new episode of this podcast, Two Kids and a Career, and I would get a random message about that particular episode and how helpful it was to that person sending the message. And so I took that as a sign to keep going. Then this cycle would repeat itself. Another growth opportunity was presented to me at Messiah St. Charles, and I knew I had to make a decision. It wasn't okay to not give my full self to Messiah, and it wasn't okay to not give my full self to Jill Divine Media. I've been trying to manage 2 full-time jobs, and that's pretty impossible to do. Then one Thursday morning, I got the biggest sign I needed. The hard drive on my laptop somehow got corrupted. As the weekend went on and there wasn't any additional information given to me about recovering the lost data, I knew it was time. I sat down and I started talking it through with my husband, Brian. And as we were talking, I started to feel relief. I want to give my full self to Messiah. So I'm hitting pause on Jill Divine Media. And that means hitting pause on the blogs, the coaching, the podcast production, and 2 kids and a career. I love podcasting. And so even though I'm hitting pause on this podcast, I'm still involved in podcasting because I'm one of the hosts for Normal Goes a Long Way. This is a podcast that I created through Messiah, and I encourage you to check it out. If you are questioning your faith, or you have questions about faith, or you're just, want to hear people talk about faith in a normal language, Normal Goes a Long Way is definitely for you. Now, I don't honestly know if Jill Divine Media will get unpaused in the future, but that's what's really cool about hitting the pause button. It's not forever. I'm not ready to make that decision. That was one of the things that Brian and I talked through. I said, I am not ready to say that Jill Divine Media is done. I have worked my butt off for this and on this, and I don't want to say it's done. And that's when we both said, well, It doesn't have to be done. It can be paused. So again, it's not forever. I'm not ready to make that decision. Who knows? But I do know that I will be more attentive and leaning in and listening for that sign when it comes time. Not an easy decision. This is now going off of the blog that I wrote, but not an easy decision. Lots of self-doubt, self-criticism, all that came into play throughout the last couple of years. And again, looking for that sign, and I'm sure, like I said, I missed it so many times. With the computer crashing and losing everything, I think one of the main things that I wrote about in the blog, but really what is driving home to me that my decision is the right one, is that relief that I felt when I said it out loud, that I think that this has to go on pause. When you feel relief, it's like, okay, there's the second sign. So with that being said, I am hitting pause, like I said. I want to thank a few people. First of all, the sponsors of the podcast. Right from the start, Blonde and Professional Real Estate came on board. So did Evoke Creative. They helped me launch pretty much everything. And then Elemental Aesthetics came on board as a sponsor. And it's just been so awesome to be able to have their support, these small businesses that are also ran by women. It's just amazing because you know that that's been one of the things that I've loved, supporting other women, supporting other businesses, and then they're supporting me. So again, thank you to Blonde and Professional Real Estate, Evoke Creative, and also Elemental Aesthetics. At one point, too, on the podcast, we had the Supermom shout out. And Lisa from Addie's Way, she stepped in and said, hey, I want to create something for these awesome moms. And she did. And she did it out of the kindness of her heart. So thank you, Lisa. And thank you to, I mean, there's so many people to thank. Like the messy mommies, they were so supportive from day one when they found my podcast. And then they're in Chicago and they have told all their friends. And so many of you have done the same thing. And you've reached out and you've said, this episode, this goes back to that blog post. This episode has really hit me in this way, or I know that my friend could use this, or just thank you. So like, I can't thank my family and friends enough for their support. And of course, Brian and the girls, I know they're young, but they are also supporting me by letting me go in my closet and do these recordings. And so I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I have learned so much about the podcasting world, about being a business owner, so much in just a few short years. And it's exciting. I'm here to help others. Another person, speaking of helping others, that I definitely have to thank is Clara. Clara was one of my very first interns, and she has stayed on this entire time as she has continued to grow. She was an intern when she was in college, and she has a full-time job now and a bunch of side hustles that she's doing, and she's still supported everything that I was accomplishing and trying to accomplish and trying to do, and she's been there. So Clara, just geesh, I wouldn't have been able to get through these past few years with content and planning and taking care of what the other interns were doing. I mean, thank you, Clara, so much. So there are hundreds of episodes that you can listen to and share with friends. I'm proud of them. I'm so glad that they're here and that they are existing. This is definitely something that is a part of my life forever, and I love everything about it. And you know, you'll be the first to know if the unpause button gets hit. But in the meantime, please, like I said, if you're interested in listening to a podcast about faith but in normal terms, like, okay, I think I understand that, or the real questions that are being asked, please check out Normal Goes a Long Way. And just thank you. You know that every time I end my episodes, I pretty much always say, thank you for your support of Two Kids in a Career. And I truly, truly, truly mean it. You can't get anywhere if you don't have people that listen. So thank you so, so much. And I am ending it like I normally do and saying thank you for your support of Two Kids and a Career. It means so much to me.